this actually also has to do with, even if you're in a relationship, so don't think it's just for the married people, because you're in a relationship, then you're allowed to run back to your ex or even cheat on the person you are in a relationship with now. Nope. So it's just because it's just, I want to center it in marriage, so we'll be talking about it in marriage. But even if you're in a relationship, it's still a very big no for you. I've really missed this pace. Not planned. Sorry, don't mind my voice. Yeah, did what I had to do. Okay, so I came across this movie, and the movie focused on a married couple and then their ex. And I came to look at it, and it was something they could help. It was something they could actually handle properly, but they didn't pay attention to it. Actually, the problem started with them because they were never communicating properly. So each of them was just assuming that the other partner understands, while they don't actually understand. Well, not very well. So the husband was assuming that the wife is understanding, and the wife was also assuming that the husband is also understanding. So things happen in their lives, and they talk about only the things they want to talk about. And eventually the wife came across her ex, the husband came across his ex, and none of them, nobody was able to tell each other, I came across this person and this was what happened, we greeted, it's been a while, you understand, so that at least the other partner will have an idea of what has happened. Nobody did that, and it did not really end up well. The story ended well, but at least for that moment where they had their exes around, it wasn't really a good sight. Okay, so this is my take. When you are married, I think most people get married, but they are not over their ex, or the feeling is still there. Like, there is this feeling you still have for this person, and you know that there's every possibility that when you meet this person, that you might not actually have the control over yourself. So this was actually what happened to the man, because he didn't marry the girl but still loved the girl deeply. She cheated, so he had to leave, and then found the girl. Now, the girl, her own ex, did not cheat, but he traveled out, so she fell in love again and got married. So these two persons now, they still had feelings for their ex, but when they came across them married, they did not, in my own opinion, they did not handle it well. Because when you see someone you like, probably if you are not careful, certain things might just resurface again, and before you know it, the devil just gives you a very good opportunity, and something you never ever imagined just ends up happening. So I'm going to be sharing what you should do before you meet your ex, yes, and then after you've met them. First, there's every possibility that you run into your ex. If you guys stay in the same place, or maybe you might not really even stay in the same place, one thing or the other can just happen, and then you find yourselves together, and then probably the person will just be hanging around for the moment, for some time, or even permanently. Okay, so I feel that before you enter into a new relationship, you should be over your past relationship. It's true that you have feeling for this person. It might not always be easy, but for you to be able to love the other person as who she is or what she stands for, you should be over the other person to avoid comparison. wanting her to be just like your ex. Okay, so you should be over the person first. So first of all, delete the person's number, especially when you know, like, you know yourself, and you know that when you meet this person, it's not always easy for you. It's very hard, like it's a hard pill to swallow. So once you get married, once you get married, like, you shouldn't really have any serious, except your wife knows the person, and then all of you vibe together. But even at that, you still need to be careful. So first of all, you have to let go of the person's pictures. Like, it shouldn't be the dominant thing on your phone. You have a new relationship, you are married to someone else, and even if you're not married to someone else, and probably you guys are still dating, you're still courting, the proper thing to do is you should be filled with the memory of the new person, actually. More like, instead of your ex's picture, you might say, for reference sake, whenever I remember this, I remember what she did. It's not necessary. It only makes you, especially when you guys had to end up, maybe because of one thing or the other, that wasn't necessarily planned, or maybe something she did that hurt you, but then you still have feelings for this person. Okay, so you just have to let go of the pictures from your phone, and then you can still let the number go too, especially if it doesn't go well with your partner. If your partner doesn't vibe with this person, if your partner does not even know the person, there's no need of keeping all those information. So you should just let it go. So I feel like when you get married and you run into your ex, the proper thing to do, I know you don't have any bad intention, like you don't have anything in mind, you're not thinking of anything. But if this person is someone that you are likely to fall for again, like you are likely to, there's every probability that if an opportunity comes up, you can't help yourself. When you get home, I feel communication is key. So the couple, they failed to communicate. She saw her ex, he saw his own ex, and nobody knew. He didn't know about it, and she didn't know about it. So they were just going about their separate affairs. Okay, so, and first of all, they were not really I said, we are just assuming that this person understands and this person understands. So they were not really, this kind of husband and wife relationship where you are really close, you share things, share opinion, like you just, they were just all about work, remember your birthday, bring back cake, apologize, all those stuff. So they were not able to relate, hey, see who I saw today and all that. So you should let your partner in on your daily activities. So if he came back home and was like, hey babe, I saw this, and this was what happened, at least she is aware, okay, this person is around, she trusts you more for you to come back and tell her. I mean, like, there's really nothing. But when you hide something and then eventually something you do not plan for happens, then everybody, the first question will be like, you didn't even let me know that she's in town. You didn't even let me know that you guys, like, you kept in touch. Okay, so first of all, let your partner into your daily activities. Who you saw, maybe an old friend, maybe your ex. Let your wife, let your husband know, I saw my ex, we hung out, we talked about stuff, and then you can just talk about it, remember the old days, laugh about it, and you move on. She knows. And if you are a woman and then you come across your ex, still let your husband know. Don't keep it to yourself, because it gives someone room to suspect you if something happens in future. If you're not able to tell me that you met this person, So that means something must really be going on, or probably you had other intentions. Okay, so first of all, like we said, let your partner in, let your partner know this was who I saw. The second thing you should do after you've let your partner in, like you thought, okay, I met this person and this was, if the really, like if there is constant communication, if you people, please, your partner should know. And if your partner is not comfortable, let it go. In fact, for me, I would say that it's not necessary. You are married and he's a guy, and probably your husband is lacking in some area or your wife is lacking in some area, and then he comes in, you feel he fits in perfectly. You are giving the devil a chance, actually. So I feel every communication, let it just end that you guys met and then probably you hung out for old time's sake and you got along, and let it just be it. Any extra, can we see here, can we see there, even if it's for something serious, when you are done, your husband should know, hey babe, like I had to go out, step out of the office, he needed, this person called and he said it was for this. It's very, very important. Don't always like be keeping it to yourself. Okay, learn to communicate. So let it just end there. Let it just end that I saw my ex and all that. You don't necessarily need to every time he calls you, like for old time's sake, let's see. You don't give that space, because especially if the person knows like this person still has something for me, because your husband, like I said earlier, your husband is lacking in an area or your wife is lacking in an area, and you find out that this person can meet those demands. Maybe being caring or pampering a woman, like all those stuff, both the husband and the wife. So you should really be sensitive. Know that you are married, and when you took your vows at the altar, you meant every word, unless you didn't mean every word of it. But I believe for you to walk down the aisle, you should mean every word you say to your partner. So it's always good to let your man or let your woman in. Just cut off everything extra, because most people might come back and want to know if it's still possible, because especially people that made a mistake, they've realized their mistake, and then they want to come back to know if after all it's all right. It's not fine in the sight of God. It's not fine. You are married, and then you be defining your matrimonial home, and then it's still possible you might just cultivate the habit of whenever your husband offends you, he's the person you fall back to, and like that you spend time, anything can happen. So both the wife, both the husband, you should really take note of that. And then even when you are talking with this person and you bring up a topic about your wife or your husband, please do not admit in their very before that they are better than your wife. The only difference is just the personality issue, because that was one of the mistakes the guy made. He had to, the woman asked him a question, and in front of her, you are showing her where she can actually come in, and you cannot resist it, especially probably in the sexual aspect or in every other way, even in cooking. In fact, whatever it is at all, you should not accept in front of the person that the person is better than your wife. She's your wife, he's your husband, so whatever it is between you two. I don't believe your ex has any what is the person doing with the information anyways? Yes, it's going to cause trouble. So there should be a limitation to whatever you discuss with him. Ex means past. The person is past. You have the present, that is your husband, and that is your wife. So trying to compare your wife or your husband with your ex, in fact even telling your ex, that's demeaning actually, and you're giving the devil away, so you should not. Another point is that every unnecessary meeting should be avoided. It should just be avoided. If you want to meet up with the person, please let it be in an open place where nothing can even come up, and even if the person tries it, he can easily walk out, yes, and go home, or even call your husband. You get, let it not be somewhere enclosed like hotel room, like somewhere you cannot even have your way out. You cannot even, turn down and walk out straight up and leave. So it's better you avoid some certain visits. And even whenever you're visiting, probably because something came up and the person needed your help, please, whenever you finish, like when you meet the person and you get home, let it be a conversation. Let it be something you people will talk about. Let it be part of what happened in your day. So, and when you make this known and your man is not okay with it, please stop. Whatever it is, unless like a set of emergency you can help, you can go along with someone. But so long he's not happy with it or she's not happy with it, please, the person has right. The person has every right to complain, and you should stop. You shouldn't try to claim your rights, because when you open the door for the devil, he opens it wider and he comes in, and wow, like the destruction, when you realize yourself, be like, how did I really get to this point? So every unnecessary calling, the person should have, in fact, I feel the person should have time. Don't call me by this is my husband's time. My husband's time is all the time, but especially like around from 8 upwards, you do not call me. If you need anything, you can call me in the afternoon, in the morning, and then that would be fine. And then mind the conversations you have over the phone. And please, your man should know that you are still speaking with this person. It's better if the person comes in a family circle and both of you agree and you are aware that this is what is happening, okay? Especially if the person, I wouldn't even, how will you even know someone that is not likely to, stir up trouble or anything? Just be careful. So long he's okay with it, he knows this person, okay, he's fine by me. But if the person does not, please just let it be, to avoid trouble and spoiling your romantic, beautiful, godly home. Okay, so I feel every unnecessary call, chat, mind the words you use. Don't sound, whenever you're talking to the person, whether he or she, don't sound like you're talking to your wife. In fact, I feel whenever you're talking to the person, just find one reason to always talk about your husband or always talk about your wife. Yes, just there must be something related to what people are saying about your husband, or you just try to chip the person in. So it gives this person this consciousness that, okay, she has this guy in mind all the time, or he has this lady in mind all the time. They can even ask you keep mentioning her name and reaffirm how much you love him or how much you love her in front of the person. It helps. So like I said, please mind where you go to with this person, and wherever you go to, before you go, let your husband know, let your wife know. Or probably you couldn't help it and you found yourself there because it was urgent. When you get back, I said earlier, let it be a conversation. Let it be more like a daily talk. You will communicate what happened in your day. Okay, so that would be all. If there's any other thing, if there's anything you want to tell us of how to make this better, because so many people are falling victim of it, where probably your wife doesn't sexually satisfy you, and then there's this opportunity to, you feel like you let in someone else, someone you've had something to do with in the past, and the person comes in and knows, especially when you reveal that part of you to the person. I said earlier, it's not everything the person's supposed to know about you and your spouse. So when you let this person into your space, the person finds it as an opportunity to try to lure you to bed or make you do what you don't want to do. So please, whatever it is in your marriage, I believe it can be worked out. Yes, if both of you really want it to work out, it can be worked out, it can be resolved. Or the person, your wife, doesn't really know how to cook, and then the person keeps bringing lunch for you at the office in the name of checking up on you. you should stop it. There are ways of making your wife improve in her cooking. It's not like you are opening the door gradually, and the devil always knows how to make good use of opportunities like that. Okay, when we say that the word of the Lord is complete, the Bible is is 150 over 100% complete. You know the Bible part that says in James chapter 4 verse 7, you should commit yourself to God first, and then you should resist the devil and he will flee from you. So the resisting doesn't mean you will speak to get. If it needs you to shout the person out, especially when you know this person is always bringing probably sexual invitation or trying to something that will break up your home, if it needs you to shout at the person, please do, so that you secure your marriage. And then if it's something you don't need to shout, you can stop calling the person or stop picking up the person's call, especially when you know that whenever this person is around, you are always uneasy. Okay, so stop picking up the person, stop calling the person, stop chatting the person, stop hanging out with the person. Yes, focus on your marriage. You've been fine all along, like you've been fine. The person is your past, and then someone is coming back to spoil your marriage for you, and you are really giving the person a chance. So the ball is in your court. Know when to draw a boundary. Let your spouse know. It is very important. Communication. Learn to communicate. And you'll be like, he's tempting you. Still, when he calls you, you still go out to hang out with the person. Or when she calls you, and you don't even the location doesn't really matter to you. Like, how will you live with someone you are cheating on? And then come back, you look at the person's face, and you still talk normal, you still behave normally and everything, and it's okay. Seriously, the day it will explode, it will destroy everything you've ever built. It will destroy you. Like, your life will take another turn. So the earlier you become sensitive, your ex doesn't really add anything to you, honestly, especially if you still have feelings for this person. Like, there's this part of you that you just know there's every probability that something might go wrong when your home is not that stable. You know, when you are passing through trials, when you're passing through temptations in your marriage, things are not really working out, and this kind of thing happens, it will take courage and grace. Please remember to pray. Ask God for help, because most times we feel we can handle it on our own, but you cannot. In as much as God has given us the grace to reason and be able to, He can go a long way before you, even with you, after you, everything. So He said He can commit anything into His hand and it will work out perfectly. So once you don't have anything bad in mind, pray to God, ask God for the strength to resist this person whenever the person is calling. To always, to know your right, to know what you want and what you don't want. You are married and you're supposed to be faithful to your partner. No matter what the person is doing, it can be frustrating, but you have already taken that oath, you've already taken that vow before God, before your father, before your mother, before your siblings. So just keep to it. Pray for yourself, pray for your family. Let your partner in on this kind of things, because if you don't, whatever the person thinks at last is not really the person's fault, because you gave room to that. So if you are here and listening to me and you are in this situation and you've not told your spouse, or something has already started happening, this is the best time for you to just turn back. You know you are not doing the right thing, but you can't just help it. God can help you. You can also do something. Yes. So please, the ex is past. You met someone, you confess that you loved the person, and you still love the person. So mean it when you say I love you, because the word is really it's a heavy one. So whenever you say it, make sure you mean it, and make sure you are able to defend it any day, anytime. Just that one person for you, and you go all out for that one person. Thank you for joining me in this episode. Yup, family. relationship. So please, if you are married and this kind of thing, you've come across it and what you did to help, please share in the comment section, because you have been helping someone who doesn't know what to do, who is probably so confused. You have been helping someone who is at the verge of doing something that can break a marriage. All right. So thank you very much. Hoping to see our comments in the comment section. See you next time. I remain my humble self, Okafo Chiso. So remember to subscribe to my channel. Remember to always leave your comments for me, and remember to always share to others.